Hello, hi everyone. My name is Robin Love. I am a certified yoga therapist and the founder of Atta Yoga School, which is an online yoga school offering classes, workshops, and one-on-one yoga therapy and mentorship. So today I am going to offer a session that I thought might be a nice one for the time of year we're in, which is the end of the year, moving towards the winter solstice, and focusing on bringing in the light, or just actually attuning to our own inner light. So for this practice, it's going to be relatively physically gentle. You will probably want a mat, but you don't need to have one. You probably want something to sit on so you're comfortable. It could even be a chair or a folded up blanket or cushion. And any other supports that you like to have handy so that you can feel supported and secure, so that you can really relax into the practice. I think of it more almost as a moving meditation rather than a physical yoga asana practice. So to get started, let's take a minute and find something comfortable to sit on. I have a cushion, so I'm going to sit on that in a comfortable position so that I can feel my connection to the ground. So for you, if you're sitting in a chair, you might want to just make sure your feet are touching the ground and that you really feel your bottom in the chair. If you're sitting on the floor, it is nice to have something under the hips. So that really the key things are that we feel connected to the ground and that we can sit up nice and tall. So our spine is long, our torso is nice and open, because we're going to pay attention to our breath to begin. So finding your comfortable seat, take a moment. When you get there, let's settle in. So you might like to close your eyes or shift the gaze downward. We're going to be drawing our attention inward. So when we have our eyes open and we're looking around, it sort of scatters our attention outward. So for the next 45 minutes or so, let's see if we can bring the attention in a more inward direction. So as you settle down, maybe the eyes are closed, maybe the gaze is shifting down just to limit the visual information coming in. Hands can be resting in your lap. We'll start to bring an awareness to our breath. We'll just start with our natural breath. Where are we today as you enter this practice? Just noticing your breath. You don't need to change it in any way, just noticing. If you can, you're breathing through your nose. Breathing through the nose just helps us slow down the breath. Perhaps with each exhale, you settle down into your seat a little more. Feeling the ground underneath you. Can you let your shoulders relax down, face soften, jaw soften, eyes soften? Then as you inhale, lengthen through the spine. Maybe we even exaggerated a little bit on this first one. Lift up, feel long through your torso. And then as you exhale, again, that kind of softening down. We're going to play with this action within the breath, this idea that when we inhale, we can lift up, be tall, light. Exhale, soften, relax down. And we can do this without losing the benefits of either of those. This is always available to us through our breath. Couple more like this. Today we're going to pay some particular attention to our inhale. So I'm going to invite you to bring your fingertips to some places on your torso. If that is uncomfortable for you, you can just use your awareness and bring your attention to that place. I find that when I bring my hands here, it's a little easier for me to bring my attention there. Makes it a little less abstract. But if it feels uncomfortable for you, it is perfectly acceptable to bring the awareness to this place. So we're going to start up here near the collarbone. I'm just resting my fingertips here. And I'm going to tuck my chin ever so slightly, just so that the back of my neck stays long. And I'm going to remember that on this inhale, I'm nice and tall. So as you inhale, see if you can feel a little movement here, or you're just bringing your awareness here, knowing that there is some movement as the lungs fill with air. And then exhale, we're always settling down, reconnecting to the ground. I'm going to let my breath get a little bit slower now. Let's do 2 more breaths like this. Now we're going to bring the backs of our fingers and just place them alongside on our side ribs. Again, if this feels uncomfortable for you, you can just bring your awareness to the sides of your body, the torso, so that now as you inhale, we're going to notice that when we inhale, there is some expansion in the side ribs too. We don't just breathe in a forward direction. In fact, our whole rib cage expands as we inhale. And as we exhale, it releases. Perhaps you're going to draw the lower abdomen in as you exhale now. Let's do 2 more breaths like this. And we have one more place we're going to explore this inhale. And this is right at below the base of our neck. So if you were to put your hand there, your fingertips there, you'll feel that bump at the base of your neck. It's their C7 vertebrae in the spine. So we're going to I'm bringing my fingertips right below that. You can use one hand, you could use both hands. You can, again, just bringing the attention, the awareness there is also fine. So now inhaling, exhaling, I'm drawing my lower abdomen in with some awareness there. This one's a little more challenging to find the movement. You might not actually be feeling any movement, which is completely fine. It's much more subtle than the other movements. But we can know that just by bringing the awareness, maybe the touch to that place, we're inviting a little bit of opening and closing with the inhale and the exhale. One more breath here. Drawing the belly in as we exhale. Let's just let our hands rest on our lap. Maybe you want the palms up. But any comfortable position, hands in the lap, eyes are closed or gaze is downward. I want to invite you to call to mind some kind of obstacle that you're experiencing right now. Something that's going on right now in your life. Without worrying too much about picking and choosing, whatever just first arose in your mind when you heard that prompt, just stay with that for a moment. Just notice what else comes up. You don't actually have to get involved with the narrative. You can watch the narrative arise. Some obstacle that's alive for you right now in your life. We're not going to linger here, so just allowing whatever to came up to come up, and now we're going to let that go for now, and we're going to return to this action of the breath as a way of bringing in some movement into our body. So for this, you can stay seated if you like. If you feel like you've been seated long enough and you prefer to stand, you're welcome to stand. Either way is fine. We will get to our feet in a moment. So if you're enjoying your seat, please stay seated. We're going to start to move with our breath, as the breath will initiate the movement. So this idea that we're expanding on the inhale is going to help open and lift us. And then as we exhale and we draw our lower abdomen in, it's going to draw everything back to our center. Again, this is the motion, this is the sort of energetic quality that's always available to us with every breath. But for our yoga practice, we really concentrate on that and focus on it just for this time of the day. So either sitting with your hands alongside your body or standing. If you're standing, I'd say stand with your feet about hip width apart, feet generally parallel to each other. Just want to feel stable, connected to the ground. If you're seated, maybe you crisscross legs differently. In fact, I'll do that for this part. So again, just taking a nice inhale, feeling that lift, that expansion. Exhale, I'm drawing my belly in, breathing through my nose. Next inhale, I'm going to start the inhale, start to feel that expansion through my torso. And this is going to help lift my arms. I'm just going to lift them about halfway up. And then exhale, draw the belly in and float the arms back down. I'm moving at the speed of my breath. So as I inhale, I start the inhale, then the movement. This time I'm going to go a little higher. Exhale, start to draw the belly in, floating the arms down with control for the length of your exhale. I'm moving at the speed of my breath, but you are going to move at the speed of your breath. Doesn't matter if it matches mine. You're moving at the speed of your breath. Keep going, lifting the arms a little higher on each inhale. Eventually, fingertips may come up towards the ceiling. And exhale, float the arms down with control. As the fingertips come up towards the ceiling, especially if you've done a lot of yoga asana, you may have the idea that, oh, I should bring my palms together, or I want to get my arms really straight up. And that has its own function and benefit. But for today, for this practice, I'm going to invite you to find a position on the inhale. Maybe the elbows are slightly bent, where you're really experiencing that fullness of the inhale. Where do you put your arms to express this? And then exhale, float them back down. So for me, having my arms straight up actually creates a little tension and contraction in my shoulders and upper back. So a bent elbow, wider arm position allows me to feel just that really expansive opening, and then exhale, float down. You can play with that a little bit. What's working in your body for you right now? One thing I love about this very simple practice is every day will be different, and I don't need to know what will happen because it's just always a discovery in that moment. Last one. So if you're just finishing, do one more. Good. So we're going to come now to stand. If you've been seated, if you're already standing, we will join you. So coming to stand, I have a mat. You don't have to have a mat, but if you do, standing on your mat, feet hip width apart. My arms are by my side. I'm standing in this Samastitihi position or Tadasana position. So we're gonna start here, inhaling, just like we did. Find that we were reaching out to the side. This time I'm gonna invite you to reach up from the front, but bending the elbows, returning to that inhale, expansive position. Exhale, drawing your belly in, the arms float down. Next time you inhale, let's lift the heels off the mat and coming up onto the balls of our feet as we lift up. And then exhale, we're going to float back down. See if you can let the heels land at the same time that the hands come alongside your body. So the heels are moving very slowly. The arms have much more further to go. So see if you can coordinate. So when you inhale and you come up, you reach your highest point. And if you fall out, as I just did, it's fine. You're just going to come back and then exhale, float down. See if you can coordinate feet and hands. It can be helpful to find a place to stick so bring your gaze and leave it there, something that's not moving. So if you had your eyes closed, you might want to open them. It's quite challenging to do with eyes closed. A little easier to find a place to fix the gaze so that you can really focus on coordinating with the breath, coordinating the two movements. Let's do one more. Good. So we're going to keep our feet on the ground and inhale, find that inhale position with the arms. And this time as we exhale and draw our belly in, we're going to bend the knees and shift the hips, lowering down, exhaling into Ardha Utkatasana or chair pose. Exhale down. Inhale here. We're going to stay here. Keep some weight in the heels. As you inhale, can you find some lift that we've been working with? And then exhale, we're going to dive over our legs, forward fold, Uttanasana, forward folding. Let's take a nice, slow, steady breath here. I have my knees quite bent in this position. I'm not worried about touching my toes. Really not trying to stretch my hamstrings. I'm just enjoying hanging over my legs. We're going to come up on an inhale, returning to our chair pose. So inhale, reach out with the arms first, bend the knees, drop the hips, come back. Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, settle down. Can you lower the hips even a little further? Inhale, let's lift up, press through the feet, come all the way back up. And exhale, float the arms back down. So let's do this sequence again. Breath is our guide. If you find your breath getting shorter, then that's fine, but maybe you just don't move so much. Make the movements a little smaller. Inhaling, arms come up. Exhale, draw the belly in, drop the hips, bend the knees as if you're sitting in a chair. Stay here, take a breath. On the inhale, feel that open, expansive feeling, and then exhale, draw the belly in, dive over your legs. Stay here, chin is a little tucked, knees are soft. Just enjoying how the spine can be open across the back. Oh, relax into it. Next, inhale as you're ready. We're going to inhale, reach out with the arms, drop the hips, bend the knees, come back to Ardha Utkatasana chair pose. Exhale, settle down. Inhale, press all the way up. And exhale, float the hands down. So one more time like that, use your own breath. Coming into chair, stay there, then exhale, forward fold, and then you come back the way you came in. You're using your breath. So we'll meet up back in our Samastitihi Tadasana position, mountain pose, as you finish. So if you have a yoga mat, I'm going to ask you to come to the back of the mat so the rest of it is in front of you. And again, we'll be standing with our feet hip width apart. And we're going to turn the right foot out just a little bit, maybe about 40 degrees, and take a nice big step with the left foot. So I'm going to ask if you could keep the hip width apart. So there's a little bit of a temptation to step almost like you're on a tightrope. But I'm going to say for this practice, we're going to have a little wider stance. So keeping your keeping your, maybe you even bring your hands to your hips. Just notice, like for me, as soon as I step forward, now I'm facing a little bit off to the side. So I'm going to adjust my back foot so that I can bring my hips generally in the general direction of the front of the mat. To a place that I'm comfortable, I feel solid on the mat, but I'm generally facing forward. On the inhale, I'm going to keep my left hand, my left foot is step forward. My left hand is going to be on my left hip. And as I inhale, I'm going to bend the knee and lift the right arm up to that inhale position. And exhale, I'm going to straighten the knee as my arm floats down and my belly draws in, coordinating now my knee and my arm. My chin is a little bit tucked. Now moving at my speed of my breath. When we keep our chin tucked, it really allows all the opening to be in the upper back and the chest rather than trying to make it into the neck somehow. Sometimes we often feel like, oh, I'm doing a great back bend, but we're really just moving our neck. But if we keep the chin a little tucked, it actually allows this part of our body, which often doesn't see a lot of movement, to really experience some opening. Keep going like that. One more, finish this one, do one more. And we'll step back with the left foot, and even bring the feet parallel again. Now we're going to open out the left foot a little bit, step the right foot forward. Again, if it's helpful, you have your hands on your hips just so you can see any adjusting you need to do with that back foot. long as you're generally facing forward. Now I'm going to keep my right hand on my right hip. And as I inhale, lifting up the left arm, coordinating with my right knee. Feels different. Exhale, floating down. And I just say it feels different because we are different side to side. Most of us tend to have a dominant side, and so it'll just be different. Still coordinating breath with movement and the arm with the knee. One more like this. And then we'll step back. Find that neutral position. We're going to do a second round a slightly different way. So again, now right foot turns out, left foot steps forward. I'm making my adjustments as needed. This time I'm going to let my hands just rest alongside my body. As I inhale, both arms this time will come up as the knee bends, coordinating. This time as I exhale and draw my belly in, I'm going to forward fold over my leg and sweep my hands to the low back. In a sort of bowing gesture over my leg. Inhale, bending the knees, sweeping the arms back up. Let the breath lead the movement. Keeping the chin a little tucked. Next time you come to the inhale position, let's stay here for a full cycle of breath. So really experience the body in this position through the breath. Next exhale. Let's do one more like that. When we stay in that inhale, Virabhadrasana, warrior one position, for a full cycle of breath. Next time you come up, exhale, stay up, straightening the leg, arms come down, and we'll step back. Let's do the other side same way. So turning left foot out, right foot steps forward, making sure you have some space, you're keeping that hip width apart. Any adjusting that needs to happen, just softening the knees a little. We don't want to lock into the knees. Arms can relax alongside the body. Inhale, arms come up. Exhale, sweep to the low back as you bow over your leg, chin is tucked. Inhale, sweep back up. Breath leading the movement. Next time you come to the warrior one position, stay there. Take a full cycle of breath. It's a chance to kind of feel into it. And then next exhale, come forward. One more like that. Keeping some weight in that back foot. Next time you come up, stay up and exhale, just straightening the leg. And we'll step back, returning to our mountain pose, Tadasana, Samastiti. You can stay like this, or maybe you bring one hand onto your chest, first finger, thumb, somewhere near the collarbone, other hand somewhere on the abdomen, maybe your thumb somewhere near your belly button. Chin a little tucked, eyes could be closed or gaze downward. Just softening the breath, softening the mind, the body, letting all that movement just have a moment to really integrate. Next time you inhale, I want to invite you to imagine that you have a golden light in the center of your chest. So when you inhale, this golden light in the center of your chest is going to grow brighter. As you exhale, that can soften. Then inhale, let that golden light grow brighter. Exhale, it softens. Knowing that this light is just the right temperature. Let's do 2 more breaths like that. That golden light in the center of your chest, inhaling grows brighter, exhale, it's soft. And then let's meet laying on our back on our mat. Bring my mat just a little closer to the camera now. So finding a comfortable position, laying on your back, let's keep our knees bent as we make our way down. Just take a moment to settle. Again, find the stability of this position. Really feel your back onto the mat. Maybe again, you're tucking your chin ever so slightly, or you could even have a blanket under your head if that would be helpful. You don't want anything that's going to lift it too high, but a thin blanket or towel folded up might be useful. As you inhale, feel the chest expand. As you exhale, really feel the lower abdomen drawing in. Is there anywhere that you would like to soften on that exhale? I can feel a little tension in my shoulders, so I'm just going to take a moment and let them relax down. If your knees are okay, I'm going to invite you to bring your feet in right close towards your hips. My feet are hip width apart. I'm going to bring them right in. They're actually like practically touching my hips because my knees are okay. If you have some funky knee issues going on, I'd say let the heels be about the length of your hand away from your hips. Either way is fine. My hands are alongside my body with the palms down. So I'm going to keep mine about a hand's length away. And on the inhale, I'm going to inhale, press into my feet and start to lift my hips off of the mat. But I'm not going like whatever I think is the full way. I'm going to go halfway, whatever that means. It'll be different for everyone. So inhaling, I'm pressing into my feet. I'm lifting my hips about what I imagine would be halfway. And as I exhale and draw my belly in, I roll down, touching the spine down, feeling it touch every part of it touch down on the mat. I have a tendency to lift my chin, so I always have to remember to re-tuck my chin. Inhale, pressing through my feet. Just like we did with our arms, I'm going to go just a little further, and then exhale, draw the belly in, roll down. Using the feet to carry the weight, so my neck and shoulders, head are all very soft, very relaxed. Keep going. You can increase how high you lift, little by little, breath by breath. Again, this is our curiosity. What is the right amount today? When we take time to figure out what feels correct today, rather than if I said, well, I did this yesterday, so I know where to go, that yesterday was yesterday. Today is different. But if I give myself the chance to actually discover what is the right amount, who knows? Maybe I even go higher. Maybe halfway is enough for me today. But at least I've given myself the chance to figure that out rather than making an assumption, leaping from there. If you want to add some more movement into this, you could lift the arms on the inhale. So inhale, lifting the arms up overhead. I'm going to bend my elbows so that they touch down on the mat and the fingertips touch down. And then exhale, everything returns down to the mat, hands alongside the body, again coordinating so the hips and the hands land at the same time. If you feel like just moving the hips up and down is enough, you can stay with that. You could keep going like this, or if you'd like, next time you come to the inhale position, stay there for a full cycle of breath. So inhale coming up, stay there, take a full cycle of breath. Next time you exhale, lower down. You can do 2 more like that. Before we get into the next posture, just take a moment to just remain here. Eyes could be closed, or simply that sense the gaze is turning inward. Feeling your back on the mat softening. I always like the image of a pat of butter melting in a warm pan, imagining my back as that butter is melting into the mat. Then we'll lift our feet off the mat, catch the knees into the palms, and we'll do a posture that's called Apanasana. So taking a nice inhale here, exhale as my belly draws in, it allows some space so my thighs can move towards my chest. Inhale, they move away. And exhale, they come closer. So I'm not tugging with my hands. It's really that I'm creating some space as I exhale and draw my belly in. It just allows the thighs to come a little closer. You can also move the thighs a little wider than your torso. It's not a big movement. If you're feeling like it's so not a big movement, you could exhale part of the way first and then start the movement. But again, just my hands are just resting there. They're not tugging. Just a couple more, 2 or 3. Gentle breath. We're going to let our feet return to the mat. And let's send our arms out like a T with the palms up. My feet are still hip width apart. We're going to do some twisting. And again, we're going to use this idea that we just go a little ways first, and then each time we can always increase as we discover how much is enough for us today. So starting with the feet hip width apart, my feet are really not going to come off of the mat too much as I let my knees drop on either side. So I'm pretty connected to the mat, both through my back and my hips. Taking a nice inhale here, the chin is slightly tucked. Exhale, as I draw the belly in, I'm going to let my knees drop to the right about halfway, whatever that means. It's not a big movement, and then inhale. They're returning up to center, moving at the speed of breath. Exhale, other side. Exhale, going back to the right side. This time I'm going to go just a little further as part of this discovery. Inhale, returning to center. If you want more movement, you can look in the opposite direction, turning the head. So I'm going just a little further each breath. Really seeing like what feels like enough today. Returning to the center with both the knees and the head, looking the other way. And knowing that if I go too far, and one way you can know if you've gone too far is your shoulder starts to come off of the mat. If your shoulder is starting to come off of the mat, that means don't go so far with the legs. We really want this upper body to be a place of stability. But if I go too far, it's no problem. I am simply going to just not go so far the next breath. You can keep going like this. Or if you are feeling like, I would like a little more twist, you can bring your feet together so that the big toes, ankles touch. And in this case, the feet will come off of the mat. The soles of the feet will come off of the mat. I'm keeping my feet stacked. When they come into the twist, they're stacked one over the other. But I'm still mindful that my shoulders are well connected to the mat. If they were starting to lift up, I might return to that hip width position with my feet. Let's do one more each side, ending on the opposite side from where we began. Next time you return to the center, ending on the opposite side from where you began. Just going to stay here for a moment. So I'm just going to bring my hands to my belly because I like that place. If you don't like that, you can let the hands rest alongside your body. Knees could be bent or outstretched. Eyes closed or gaze inward. Again, calling to mind this obstacle that's alive in your life right now. We again won't linger too long, but maybe just take a moment, a step back moment to just say like, oh wow, what else came up when I recall that obstacle? As if you were a witness rather than a participant. As you're ready, we're gonna roll to one side, bend the knees, roll to one side, use your hands to help you come up to sit. And we're gonna return to our comfortable seated position. So sitting on your cushion or your folded up blanket. Taking a moment to get comfortable, whatever supports you need, if you need some supports underneath your knees. And connecting to the ground. Now we're going to do some more subtle moving with our breath. In a practice, it's called finger nyasa. Finger nyasa. Nyasa is a Sanskrit word that means placement. So we're going to be working with the breath and placing our fingers. So we use both hands at the same time. I'm lifting my hands up as a way of showing you, but you can keep your hands resting in your lap with the palms up while you do this. So I'm just holding it up so you can see while I describe what we're doing. And then I'm going to put my hands down and do it with you. So you do both hands at the same time. And we're going to use our thumb and inhale. For the length of the inhale, I'm sliding my thumb along my first finger. And for the length of my exhale, I'm sliding it back down. Then I'm going to switch to the next finger, the middle finger, inhale, come all the way up to the tip, and then exhale, slide it back down. Go to the ring finger, inhale, sliding up, both hands at the same time, exhale, slide it back down. Little finger, still moving at the speed of my breath, exhale. When I get to the end of my sliding down on my little finger, I'm going to return to the pointer finger. So I'm not going to go back through the fingers. I'm actually going to start where I started. Inhale, back at the pointer finger, and exhale, slide it down. So every inhale, you're sliding the thumb up the finger. Every exhale, you're sliding it down. When you get to the little finger, then you're going to finish that and return. So we're going to do a total of 3 rounds, meaning we'll do each finger in turn, return to the pointer finger, and do that whole thing 3 times in total, keeping the breath slow and steady. And we want the inhale to be about the same as the exhale. Knowing that a slow, steady breath is what we highly value. So now my hands are resting in my lap. I'm going to close my eyes. This is a traditional way of doing pranayama or breath extension in yoga, is with the eyes closed. But if that's uncomfortable, you're keeping the gaze downward and really just letting all the attention be on the thumb sliding up on the inhale, sliding down on the exhale, and on to the next finger. Breathing through the nose if you can. Just remembering we value that long, slow, steady breath. If you finish before me, that's fine. Just waiting here, and we'll all catch up together. Once you're done, just relax the hands and let them rest in your lap in any comfortable position. The breath returns, no more conscious control, but with some awareness that we're allowing the breath to maintain a kind of slow, steady pace. Eyes can be closed or gaze downward. If you're still working at a much slower pace than I did, that's totally fine. Just hit pause. When you're done, you can return. So once again, I'm going to invite you to imagine that you have this golden light in the center of your chest. As you inhale, this golden light that is just the right temperature gets brighter. And this time, as you exhale, I'm going to allow that golden light to spread outward from the center. And just as we did with our breath and with the movement, we're going to start small. So imagining the golden light is just moving slightly out from the center, maybe even a millimeter or a centimeter as you exhale. When you inhale, it all returns to the center, it grows brighter. Exhale, you're going to let it grow, maybe just a little further. And keep going like that. Each inhale, it returns to the center and this golden light grows brighter. It's just the right temperature. And then you're allowing that golden light to spread outward from the center. But you decide by going slowly, incrementally with each exhale, you decide how far. Maybe today it's just a little. Maybe your whole body is filled. Or maybe it's something in between. You decide. With each breath, you decide. While you keep doing that, inhaling, let the golden light get brighter, exhale, it gently spreads outward. I'm going to chant a mantra that is related to this practice. I'll chant it several times, so you can just let the sound wash over you. You don't need to memorize it or think about it. Just let the sounds wash over you as your golden light grows bright and spreads in your body. Om Jyotiraham Swaha. 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 Last one. Om Jyotiraham Swaha. Letting go of that image of the golden light spreading, growing brighter and spreading. Just stay with the feeling. Stay with the feeling. If your mind wants to wander, maybe just call to mind the sound Om or Ah. If Om is okay, then you just call to mind the sound Om and bring your awareness back to the golden light and then the feeling. You are welcome to stay as long as you like with that feeling. So you could hit pause, and when you're ready, if you're ready, come back We're going to start to return to our more normal way of being. So we're going to open our eyes, take in our room, our surroundings, wherever we are. We're just going to do some gentle movement with our eyes open, bring us back to our more normal way of being. So your choice, you could either, from wherever you're seated, just extend your legs out in a very, very soft forward fold way. I'm going to keep my knees really bent. Very gently inhale up, exhale, come forward. My eyes are open. So just a few very gentle forward folds. If you prefer a little more movement, maybe come on to all fours. Let your head look up, exhale, go back. Again, keeping eyes open, staying connected to your space and your environment. Just 3 or 4 like that to reconnect. And that will be our practice today. Again, my name is Robin, and I am the founder of Atta Yoga. You can find us at attayoga.ca. We're in Canada, so it's .ca. Thank you so much for your practice.